opportunity has given to me. And today, I would like to, before presenting my thesis presentation, I would like to introduce my name. My name is Melissa Kalimongan, and I'm the student of English Literature Department of University Fajar. And before presenting my presentation, I would like to thanks to my honorable lecturers. The first one is to Miss Andi Perdana Tamrin, SSM Home, as my consultant and as the head of English Literature Department of Universitas Fajar. During my first examiner is Sir Bahar Setiawan, SPDM Home. My second examiner is Sir Erman Syamalik, SSM Home, and my last examiner is Mem Ana Rosida Sapwan, SSM Home. And today I'm going to be presenting about my thesis with the title Postcolonial Identity in the novel The Duke of the Shadows, written by Meredith Duran, by using the postcolonial theory of pake. So the chapter 1 is about introduction. So the first one is about background of the study. The first one is postcolonialism. The term of postcolonialism comes from two words, means after, and colonialism. Colonial means the period of colonialization. So the term of postcolonialism means the period of the colonization. So postcolonialism is not only talking about the physical colonization that was carried out by the colonizer to the colonized people, but it is also talking about the mental colonization that was carried out to the colonized people, because the colonizer considered their culture as the superior, and the colonized people are inferior. So they impose their culture to the colonized people. So in this condition, make the colonized people dilemma between maintaining their culture or following the colonizer's culture. So they felt the cultural crisis identity. So due to the crisis, cultural identity is the center of the story, is the center of the problem in the story The Duke of the Shadow, written by Meredith Duran. And this novel tells about the main character of Julian Sinclair, who has the cultural crisis identity in his life, because he is a half-blood between Indian as a colonized people and British as the colonizer in this novel. And then due to the crisis identity, Homi Kebaba came to bring his theory. He said that a new identity can be obtained through the concept of hybridity and mimicry. So the next about the question of the research. So based on the background above, the question of the research or the problem of the research is formulated into two parts. The first one is what are postcolonial identities experienced by Julian Sinclair in the novel The Duke of the Shadows, written by Meredith Duran, by using the concept of Homike Baba. And the second is how does Julian Sinclair maintain his cultural identity at the end of the story. And then the next is objective of the research. So the purpose of the objective of this research is, the first one is to find out the emergence of postcolonial identities experienced by Julian Sinclair in the novel The Duke of the Shadow by Meredith Duran, based on the concept of Homike Baba, and how does Julian Sinclair maintain his cultural identity at the end of the story. So the next is significance of this research. So significance of this research, the first one is theoretically. Theoretically, this research is expected to bring a benefit by adding knowledge about literature, especially hybridity, mimicry, and ambivalence of Homike Baba. And theoretically, practically, this research is expected to bring a reference for the Department of English Literature students who will be interested in analyzing the theory of Homi by using the theory of Homike Baba. And about the scope of the research, in order to avoid confusion during this research, so the researcher will limit the problems, just focus on two main focuses. The first one is analyze the postcolonial identity in the novel The Duke of the Shadow, written by Meredith Duran. And then, how does Julian Sinclair, as the main character, maintain his cultural identity at the end of the story? So the next is about chapter 2. So the chapter 2 is about literary review. So the first one is previous studies. So before conducting this research, the researcher first got some inspiration from several students from different universities. The first previous study was done by a student of Islamic University named Amrullah. Chapter 4, ma'am? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay. Wait a minute, ma'am. So the chapter 4 is about finding in discussion. So related to the problems of this research, the first one is post-colonial identities experienced by Julian Sinclair in the novel The Duke of the Shadow, written by Meredith Duran. The first one is, how does Julian Sinclair find out his new cultural identity through his mimicry? So the first one is, this data shows about his hybridity. This data says that I take no offense of a mention of my heritage. It is my better half. I think his smile or better quarter, though that lacks of a certain ring. My concern is for the feast. While I firmly believe that England has no place in India, he half of shock made him smile again. Well, and I am part native, Miss Martin, and also an English peer, a future duke. She knew that she was fluttering, but she had never heard of such a sentiment. So this is called hybridity. As Homike Baba said, that hybridity is a mixture of colonized and colonizers' culture. It makes a new identity. And then in this concept, how does Julian Sinclair find out his cultural identity? In this quotation is about, he said that as a mixed blood, he always put himself in the middle position. He said that he is the part of England and also he is the part of British. So he is between. He is always put himself in the middle position of. He always put himself in the middle position of these two countries, which means that both of these countries are his countries. He put himself in the middle position, so that's called hybridity. So the next is mimicry. Mimicry is, as Homike Baba said, that mimicry is when colonized people are trying to imitate the colonizer's culture. But in this condition, I will focus on how Julian Sinclair mimicked both of his countries, because he's both of the culture of the two countries of Indian and British, because he is half-blood, to see how the new cultural identity emerged in himself. And then this is the data of mimicry. He was very tame, doubt flickered through her mind. Squash as she considered Scratch's cravat and elegancy, cat-tail coat. Of course, he was English. The lacy grace, which he held himself, made her aware of her own unmannerly slouch. She straight, lifting her face toward the star. So in this condition, Julian Sinclair, as the main character, are trying to mimic the way the British people dress when he attend the engagement of Emma, the engagement party of Emma with his cousin named Marcus Lindley, and then he proved that he is also the part of British. He proved that he is the part of British by mimicking the way of dressing of British people by using cravat and tailcoat. And the ambivalence. Here is the quotation. His eyes could become weapon. They focus on her now with alarming intensity. Become greener as she stared into them. hopelessly pinned, I will be the Duke of Auburn. He said that she had a strangest thought that he was not pleased, but eventually, but it is an English title, you know. It gives no claim to Indian soil. So in this condition, as Homike Baba said, that ambivalence is a fluctuation between wanting something and wanting its opposite, and then uh, based on the data that I have found in the novel The Look of the Shadow, Julian became ambivalence or became ambiguity because he want to he want to he want